Hello everyone, welcome once again to Media Minds Season 2 and television.com initiative to bring to you some of the finest minds in the media ecosphere in the country working in the marketing and advertising side of it. Today on this episode, we are very glad to have Mr. Deepak Kumar from Densu Aegis Network, currently heading the C Lab, Ambient and Brandscope verticals for the international agency in India. Welcome, Deepak. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Mansi, for a quick, short, and amazing introduction.
As I mentioned in the introduction, too, like three different verticals. There are looking at the ambient thing, you're looking at the out of home advertisement thing, and then the new part of it, which is celeb management and even management thing. So, can you just share with us what are your brief roles and how are you managing all these three verticals?
Right. So, my journey at Dentsu started around 6 years back. Harish picked me up, identified me for role in Ambient because I come in with good experience in terms of creating brand experiences. I work with Times, Hindustan Times, Midday, etc. in my earlier role. And that's where my interaction with Harish and his vision of Ambient, and that's where he felt I fitted in, and that's where my journey started. Ambient, I think it's quite interesting. Unlike while most of the out-of-home company want to bundle it under the out-of-home services, here we took a different stance, and we say that it's not the same thing. It's totally different. The consumer's behavior, attitude, etc., are totally different, and hence it needs a specialist agency role, right? So that's where we picked up people who came from the similar background. And today, in 7, 8 years of us being in the market, now we get briefs saying, that this brief is for Ambient only, right? So that's how my career started over here. From there, while we were at Ambient, we also realized, that the out-of-home landscape was changing slowly, right? The advent of digital screen, the new age, modern and smart screen coming up. That's where we started focusing on that, and that's where we launched this product called ROH. That's real-time out-of-home, or in a simple language, digital out-of-home business. While we were at it, the company did realize, that as an organization, we're spending a lot of money is being invested into influencers and celebrity. The company thought it's time now to consolidate that. That gave birth to C Lab, and I just happened to be lucky to be involved in that. And just recently, out of home, which was not part of my portfolio, has got introduced away into my kitty. So if you look at all this, while though it sounds like totally different business entity and different, maybe brings in different work culture and business culture, fact is all of them are extremely interrelated, right? For us at Dentsu, we believe, that everything that we do centers around the consumer, right? So consumer is at the heart of it. And around that, you figure out, look at different options, how you can connect with the consumer. So Ambient, digital out of home and Brandscope, that's the out of home part. I think it's strictly interrelated. And even in C Lab, right? So how do you reach out to the set of consumers, right? Where the consumers are, who are the followers of a particular star, where they are and how you could connect with them. That's how we are structured. Two, I think I've got an excellent team. So that really helps. It gives us time to look at innovations around these products.
And as you have already mentioned that all of them are quite interrelated. But when we look at C Lab, I believe that a lot has changed in the influencer and the celeb management space. I feel even the core definition of what a celebrity is into a changing sphere. So what is your vision for C Lab if we start with that?
So very interesting thing around this whole celebrity or influencer management business is, as a country, we are an idol worshipper, right? So till yesterday, Shah Rukh Khan, Ranveer Singh, etc., Ayushman, and all of a sudden now there is Sonu Sood, right? So we follow someone who we feel is doing things that I may or may not be able to do. And maybe media really amplifies that person, and then you feel, wow, this is the guy. Fact number two, there is no brand in this country who has not used celeb at some part of their brand life cycle. Point number three, while people spend crores of rupees in identifying, implementing, etc., nobody really asks the question कि बस ये शाहरुख खान क्यों, Ayushman क्यों, right? Nobody's ever asked this question because somebody in the system felt कि यार Ayushman चल रहा है या Sonu Sood चल रहा है, hence I need to pick up that guy, right? So we stepped back on it and we said, if we want to make a mark in this business, we need to ask these questions and make our life complicated so that the life of a client becomes much more easier, right? So that's where we created a tool called Star Matrix. What Star Matrix does, it helps identify the brand personality of the brand to the brand personality of the talent, right? We also look at the geographical heat map, that is the fan base of the stars, as to where they are and where the consumers of the clients are. If those heat map matches creates a darker hotspots, so there is a fitment and hence you should look at the star. So we've been able to bring science to this whole art, to this whole celebrity business. Number two, while endorsement helps you get a larger chunk, I think the influencers, right? So micro, macro, and now the most recent term as nano influencers, I think they all come in at different parts of the business life cycle and they're able to create a desired impact. Now, nano is all of a sudden in demand because, moment you see a known face saying, that use this soap, use this perfume, and now, of course, these days use this sanitizer, right? So the nano influencers plays a very smart role of coming in tactically, and us as a consumer would believe कि अच्छा ये star नहीं है, एक राहुल बोल रहा है, so I must trust Rahul because Rahul is not married to a brand. He is not getting paid. So irrespective, a celeb in any format would remain a celeb and brand would not hesitate to use them in one or the other format. Only thing that CLAB brings onto this is how you can use them effectively, smartly, and whether the fitment exists between the star that has been selected for the brand or for the campaign.
And as you mentioned that data is playing a big role in identifying these celebs and then just connecting them to the right brand. You mentioned one of the technologies that you have invented and are using. Can you shed some light on some of the more tools and technologies that are active in the celeb management and influencer management space right now?
So there are a lot of those startup companies. There are some well-established companies who all have got tools, right? And what most of them do is they only help you identify what the fitment is. Or at the most, they'll tell you, this is the fan base, this is the engagement rate, this is the likes that you would get. But nobody tells me that why should you pick up this, right? So most of the choices or influences are based on maximum followers.
Yeah.
On current rage is Instagram, so everybody wants to know Instagram. In between, of course, the shift moved towards TikTok, but that's not effective anymore. So back to Instagram. So your focus is whether how much followers is equal to reason for me to pick that. Our take is we challenge that. We say it's not about how many followers. Are there effective engagement against every post that they put, right? So if you look at any post being done by a female, right, influencer, you'd find people putting random comment that has got nothing to do with my product, right? The idea of putting that product in the seller was he's going to say something and people respond to my product. Otherwise, max you've done is you put up a brand, people would have possibly seen the video, looked at the picture, and maybe clicked on a like, but there's no effective engagement, right? So those are the things that our focus is on. Of course, it puts in a lot of pressure. Easier way is, कि बस ज़्यादा follower है, इसको ले लो, this is the rate, and we are out of it. But we thought this is the right thing to do. And in three and a half years of our existence, I think it has really worked for us. We are working with some of the finest brand. We're working with some of the A-lister, some of our clients, right, who did not believe in a brand endorsement, right? So we've got them and they're there for a long time now. I mean, for 2 years, and then you've renewed for subsequent years as well. So those really affirm our belief in what we have created. And we feel, that this is here to stay. Now, the challenge, therefore, hence, is what next on this, right? So that's the quest we are on right now. And something we're going to announce soon as to what next on Star Matrix.
That's interesting. And I'll keep in touch with you regarding that. now moving to the out of home part of it, I was discussing it with Bikram Sapuja from Medicine also just a few episodes back. That out of home is in a transition phase right now. That's what I believe because one COVID also gave it an option to now. Some may see it as a hiccup, but what I see it as that they have got an option to now sit back and see what's the new way that they can go ahead, and digital out of home, which was slowly picking up in the country, might rise in a bigger way in the coming few months when the lockdown is over. What are your thoughts on
Right. So I think this is the most exciting time to be in this business.
it? Mm-hmm.
One. Number two, I think the time, the so-called pause that happened in this business at this point of time, we use it very, very effectively, right? So BrandScope has got a tool called Ozone, which captures all the legal sites that exist in the country. We have a data and analytics around it to tell you as to where the site is, consumer details, consumer and the site data, right? So which we have now sharpened it further. We added up more sites onto the tool. The pause moment for BrandScope helped us really move it up further. One. Number two, from a digital out of home point of view, so I think it's a very exciting medium, right? We feel people are still buying it as a static billboard, right? So they're not buying audiences, and that is something what as a company we've been pushing, that please do not buy a screen, right? Buy an audiences that it's going to deliver. There's a lot of data. I think the tech that the market has bought in, tech that we at ROH has bought into it, and tech that some of the brand scope aspect that has added on to it. I think it makes it very, very exciting. Number two, outdoor, right, would not die, right? I don't think there is an end to out of home. It will only get much smarter. If you now put up a kick off a campaign at this point of time, you're the only one with getting almost 100% OTS, right? You won't get a chance like this again as the market kicks in. And our experience has been, with from a brand scope out of home point of view, has been the number of brands that are now slowly getting activated, not just in the so-called green areas, but some also in orange and few also in the red zone as well. From a digital out of home point of view, I think with over 2 lakh digital screens in the market, I think it's an interesting play. It's for a brand and the agency to decide as to how you could use it. I think digital out of home is going to put a lot of pressure on creative team to figure out, that how you could make the dynamic campaign far more interesting and engaging. For us, we got a dedicated team which works with the digital out of home team to ensure that whatever campaign comes in, how we could create those engagement and make the campaign look more interesting. And of course, for everything, there is data. I think DOH is a true visualization of data and technology coming in together.
Data, technology, and creativity, as you mentioned. I have been asking this to almost everyone that I've been talking to in these days because being from the creative side, I have this urge to know that how do you ensure that data and creativity are amalgamated in a bigger, in a better way so that the person who's creating doesn't feel, stifled or bound by some obligations while working on a creative piece?
So from a outdoor and a creative point of view, I think it's step number one. It's important to know where your a billboard or your digital screen is. It's very important for you to know where it is, and hence then create a contextual content. The third part, I think, which is the conversion of the mobile and the digital screen. I think it's extremely interesting because, of course, he would see it on the screen. At the same time, you're pushing content onto the handheld devices also, which means you need to create a third creative, right? So you have creative number one, which is static, creative number two, which is visual, and creative number three, which is visual and interactive. It's extremely important for the creative teams in the agency to wake up to this new medium and how they could contribute to make it far more interesting and engaging.
And are you also taking some initiatives to reskill or upskill your employees who are working in that arena?
We have a small team on digital out of home because everything is for us automated. We don't need a large manpower to take care of the planning buying because the system itself is taking care of that. It's a 4-member team currently across Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore. So those team are empowered. They are interacting with our team at global level. So it's not just that they are limited with what exposure they have over here, but they also getting to know what's happening in UK, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. From a creative point of view, we have a team whose job then is to figure out the creative that has come in and how can you make it more apt for the digital screen, and even for that matter for billboards as well. So training, yes, there is a training too. Is it labor intensive? Of course, not labor intensive, because we have reduced the human being involvement, right, to mere 10%. So the 10% part, which we are hoping that we should be able to tackle that as well. But I don't think we'll get to that at 100% automation. But of course, at 90% automation also, I think it's a nice big leap for us in 2.5 years of us being in this business.
And going ahead, if you look at from an all India level, how much do you see the market size for digital out of home going to be?
Like what happens in out of home business, there is a certain number that gets claimed, and then certain number some other agency claims. Our take is that digital out of home is currently at 5% of the OH medium at this point of time. But if you look at the number of screens that has jumped over last year to this, I think it's a good 35% jump over last year, right? Which means there is a belief in this medium. There are people who are willing to invest, and there are clients who are eager to experiment on this. We've done some really very, if you'll permit me to use the word sexy, I think we've done some really very sexy campaigns on digital out of home. I'll just take two examples. These are all just pre-COVID time. A campaign that we did for Philips air purifier during the Delhi when the pollution picks up big time, right? So we picked up the AQI, that's air quality index, right? We use those API onto this on the digital screens, and as the air AQI level, right, dropped to red, right? That's where the Philips air purifier ad will kick off. And the second one that we did around same time was for Skoda, where we use computer vision to map the front grille of these Skoda variants. And as it came into the range of the screen, it identified which make and triggered off the same make ad onto the screen. Right, so you can really play around with this.
Now, going back to the ambient part of it, like that was the first brand that you were handling, and we see that this integrated approach to marketing is another thing that has gone on an upward trend in the past few years. So I see a lot of scope for ambient there as well. So what are your plans for the agency, and how are you going about it?
So for ambient also, we have created a ambient analyzer. That's Ambient Media, India's first ambient media planning tool, right? It helps you understand where the consumers are. It helps you understand what is the mind frame of the consumer when they are at these ambient locations. So the best part of ambient locations are that the consumers are there with the intent to spend. What are the things now I need to do to ensure that the consumer walks into my store and picks up my product? While there are different media formats available for you to use, I think activation is another good option for you to interact and engage with the consumer. And third part, the best part is that while the consumer engages with your product, and if you have a store over there, then you are able to guide the consumer at your outlets.
And going ahead, how do you see the future of all the three properties that you are handling right now?
So ambient currently in a slow mode. The malls, etc., are opening up. Our observation in the footfall, what we saw in subsequent weeks, have been moving up slowly. So that's pretty positive. My take is, this is my personal view, that as the most of us salary is coming and we're not getting a chance to spend, which means I've got surplus of money, and moment something opens up, I'm gonna just go and try to pick maybe some extra stuff, etc. And maybe, if you've looked at when the couple of outlets that's open, Chromas and Reliance Digital of the world, people queued up to pick up laptop because school pressure, etc. So I think it's extremely positive. People would, one thing gets back to normal, I think business would be normal. My take is business would be more than normal, because brands would want to clear off their lost opportunity. A consumer would want to pick up a better bargain, thinking that your product is not being sold for a couple of months, etc. Hence, I should get a better deal. I think it's a golden opportunity for the consumer and also for for the marketeers. From a brand scope point of view, I think we are in a good, safe place. We're seeing a lot of traction, and as I'm speaking with you, there's an alert from a team saying we picked another campaign. So looks like extremely positive. Influencer business is something which good time, bad times, there is always one celeb for you to look up to. So I think these business opportunities are just great. I think it's like I said earlier, it's the best time to be in advertising. And if you are lucky enough to handle multiple portfolio, I think you can really juggle between them and figure out how you can leverage one onto the other. I think it's just the right place, right time, a moment for all of us.
That's great. All the best for all your future plans, and thank you so much for joining me here today.
All right. Thank you, Mansi.